The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
Pollard streaks in. Touchdown. Parsons has sacked it. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Nick Harris, John Machota, and Kyle Yeomans.
It's a terrific Tuesday edition of Talking Cowboys presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company. We are live from the Star in Frisco and the SWBC studios here inside the world headquarters of the Dallas Cowboys. We've got Isaiah Stanback, John Machota, Nick Harris. I'm Kyle Yeomans with Chris Beam in the back. Chilling as always, doing his thing. How we doing, gentlemen?
I'm good. How are y'all doing?
What's with the Seahawks garb?
Where am I from, Kyle?
I mean, the Sonics garb.
Where am I from, Kyle?
See, you can already see where I'm leading with
Harley
this.
home, but always repping.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You rep UNT?
I do.
Okay.
But
You
the
rep- you rep-
Cowboys
you rep-
don't ever play North Texas.
You rep the Cowboys don't play the Seattle Supersonics.
But they play Seattle.
they do. I'm not wearing the Seahawks jersey.
Not yet.
You rep the Mavs.
Yet. Yeah, the Cowboys and the Mavs are
That's your
good partners.
hometown team,
Yeah, they're
right?
good partners.
Yeah, it's my hometown team.
It's your hometown team. That doesn't exist anymore.
Do you have any Seahawks jerseys?
The ones I played.
I was about to say, he's got his own.
That's all.
You know, like a Sean Alexander,
Nah.
Matt Hasselbeck.
John
We're
Alexander.
gonna take the ball and we're gonna win the game.
If I'm gonna wear a football jersey, it has to be like a throwback.
Okay.
It has to be like a legend. Yeah, I like
Like,
Sean.
who would
Sean
it be?
Alexander's a beast to me, but like it has to be from Seattle.
Yeah, who would it
Probably
be?
Sean Alexander.
Yeah, I mean I like Sean. Sean's dope.
Russell Wilson.
No,
The Boz.
No, I'm not wearing a boss. It'll be a Cortez Kennedy.
Earl
Cortez
Thomas.
Kennedy.
Marshawn Lynch.
Michael St. Clair. Michael St. Clair was.
You've
my
always
guy.
been a big Lynch guy. You were a
Marshawn's
big
my dude,
beast,
yeah.
beast mode dude.
Yeah, I'm not wearing Marshawn's jersey.
Yeah,
but
probably not. Are you a believer of the thing where you shouldn't wear a jersey of the guy of somebody that's younger than you? Have you ever heard of that?
I don't see myself doing that. Like
Yeah.
I said, I'm a throwback guy. If I'm going to wear a jersey, it's going to be a Now I
I'm
will
kinda the
wear.
same way.
I'll wear my clients' jersey. It's
Sure.
not, like if it's clients that
If
I've
you know
trained,
them personally, that's
yeah,
different.
That's different, right? Clients that I've trained and they've given me jerseys or whatever might be the case, I'll rock that. But in terms of going out and purchasing a jersey, yeah, it has to be somebody that's legendary. So for like me, like this Sean Kemp, like I'll rock Sean Kemp all day.
Yeah.
Sean Kemp, Gary Payton. You know,
Yeah.
those type of guys.
I could see this dude. Answer your question, I'll answer it for him. I could totally see this dude in Vegas Friday night wearing a Michael Penix jersey, and Michael Penix is certainly
not
young.
wearing Michael Penix
He's certainly younger than him. I could see him do
Will
that.
I be
See, but
there?
he
Absolutely.
knows Michael Penix though, so that's okay.
I'm not wearing that.
Not gonna wear one.
No. I'll be wearing some UW gear.
Like Steve Edmund.
Would you buy your son a Michael Penix jersey? Would he rock that?
No, I bought him a hoodie.
Oh, he's got a hoodie.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
gonna be like 50 degrees down.
That's gonna be so fun for you guys because it's you and the sun.
That's it.
Going that direction.
That's it.
Man,
Nice.
this would be fun.
That'll be fun.
It's gonna be a good trip.
Good luck to
Not
your-
even 24 hours
to your dogs.
I was gonna say, yeah.
In and out.
Seattle and then Washington
That's
in
it.
Vegas.
How do you feel about that?
About what? The game?
the game,
I
yeah.
feel good about it.
Yeah,
I do. I think it's gonna be a heck of a game.
Well, Nick is a big Bo Nix guy, so
That's good.
That's not
no,
true
no.
at
I think it's gonna be one heck of a game. I truly do. I think both of those teams are really good. Oregon and University of Washington, and we'll see what happens, man.
it's gonna be a fun one.
No, we're in the top 4. We can't fall out now.
I don't know how you could show up to the Cowboys facility wearing not only a Seattle team's gear, but also the gear that's colored the same as the Oregon Ducks. You've got yellow and green on
Whoa.
this week.
Dang.
I mean,
Double
I feel like
whammy.
it's a double
Whoa.
blow.
So I wear a Seattle
Whoa.
hat every day.
Whoa.
Just so
You do actually
I
wear
wear
a Seattle hat
I
every
wear
day.
Seattle gear every
You
single
don't
day.
wear
that I walk
green
in here.
green and yellow every
I've
day.
been saving this one, Kyle.
I mean, if you look in the monitor, it only looks like you're wearing Ducks gear, to be honest with you. I don't see anything.
okay.
There we go.
Yeah,
There you go. There's the Sonics.
Posture. Let's sit up here the rest of the show.
You
Huh?
lost a bet.
Hey,
That's what it
guys.
looks like.
You know what?
That's what Todd Williams asked me. No, was it
Should
Todd?
turn
No,
the
it was
hat
Cable.
around.
It was Cable. Cable asked me this morning. He said, "Did you lose a bet?" I said, no, Cable. I was born there.
Did you lose a bet?
I was born and raised in Seattle.
Do you
Y'all
remember? You might not remember this, but back our first year on this show, 2020, and you and I made a bet, and I had to wear your jersey.
I remember that.
And I got in trouble.
Got in so much trouble.
You and I got called to the principal's office.
That's the only time the Seattle jersey has ever came in the doors of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
When Kyle lost the bet.
Seattle stand back jersey.
Yep.
And I lost the bet because I thought the Cowboys would beat the Seahawks that year, and they didn't. And I had to wear it for a show, and I did. I got the
We got slap on our wrist with a ruler.
Yeah, that one didn't work out well.
That won't happen again.
Does anybody know what college Shaq Leonard went to?
South Carolina State.
Bang!
Yes, sir.
There you go. Give me an update, Nick.
such
What's
an
going on?
encyclopedia.
Everybody wants to
I
know.
try.
It's so good to have you back.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. It's good to be here. So Jerry Jones spoke this morning on The Fan about the visit with Shaq Leonard today. So he is in the building right now. That's why I was late. I was just gathering intel on
that's what
Shaq
it was.
Leonard. That's exactly what it was. He said they're checking some health things right now with the health team and see where he's at, not only for the rest of the year, but, the foreseeable future. He said that's what we're doing right now as we're speaking, as of 30 minutes ago. And then I'll have lunch with him while he's here. So it looks like there's a bit of an itinerary for Leonard today. Diana Rossini reported last night that if a deal does not get reached with Dallas today, that he'll be headed off to Philadelphia later this week to meet with them. So with that in the back of everyone's mind, you almost want to look for as much silver lining as possible on the visit today, especially when it comes to the health things. I know he's coming off of 2 back surgeries from last year, and that obviously worries somebody, especially whenever you look at the reason why there's a hole in the linebacker core right now with Leighton Vander Esch and the stacked neck injuries that he's had, and wanting to be able to stay confident and stay true to that. So, it's interesting. It's not something that I had on my bingo card if you had asked me 2 weeks ago as far as Darius Leonard goes, but he's on campus today, and we'll see where it goes from here.
I have questions. Question number 1: why did they release him?
I think it's
a number
money.
of things.
I think personally it's money. I think when it comes to his health situation last year, what he was able to produce on the field last year, what they're trying to do in Indianapolis right now, it doesn't make sense to pay him what they were paying him.
Okay.
Let's see, how do we put this? Some organizations are run differently than others.
Got you.
And
Some GMs are on Twitter more than others.
it's hard for me not to think of how everything went down before the season started with Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, to factor that all in,
Yeah.
and then see some other things that
Oh,
are
yeah, the ownership.
tweeted out, which I enjoy from the tweeting perspective, but I don't know if that's exactly what you want running the team situation. So I understand where you're coming from because I certainly think of that whenever a player's let go, but I have preconceived thoughts really about every single organization in my head. Yeah. And when certain ones let players go, you're just like, no, kick the tires on that guy. No. And then there's other organizations that I'm going, you're like, yeah, he's probably good. You probably don't need to do it.
Yeah, so I know that there was a lot of issues. Well, ownership in general over there in the Colts. A lot of players don't want to necessarily be in Indianapolis for a number of reasons regarding the ownership and management. But I do know that, obviously coming off those 2 back surgeries, that's something that is apparent. I would imagine he spends half his visit getting MRIs today, if I was to guess, if I was a betting man. But then, so I don't have issues with those things, right? You think about like Marcus Peters, right? Like obviously UW, he just got released, and I think about that, and I'm like, okay, well, he's had a issue with his character pretty much his entire career. So when you see him get released, you automatically go to, okay, what's the issues, right? Especially with Pierce, now the coach and things like that. It's like, what the heck's going on? Like, why are you now getting released by a player? It doesn't make sense. So that I have questions, but in this I have questions in regards to just his health. So obviously they'll take care of that. But then I look at it from the perspective of, if he doesn't get a deal with Dallas today, then he's off to Philly. How does he go about choosing which team he goes to first? And pretty much if he's ready to put it out there saying, hey, I want to go to Dallas first, and if Dallas doesn't work, then I'll pretty much sign with Philly. That's what it sounds like. Mm-hmm. How does he go about making that decision? So is Dallas his preferred choice over Philly, or like how does that? You know what I mean? Like,
I think there's a lot of assumptions in there. It could be just a situation where Dallas reached out first to the agent. Like if I was going through this process personally, it's whoever reached out to me first, whoever showed me the most love, and it kind of goes back to like recruiting even. It's
Absolutely.
like, okay, they're showing me the most love. Let me go there first and give them the first opportunity. Yep. That's a good place. Mm-hmm. They need a starting linebacker. Let's go there and figure that one out. And if it doesn't work, then let's go to this other contender who's also really good and could use a starting linebacker. So I think it's kind of goes both ways.
Well, and I think there's a couple different elements there too. Is the fact that there was a bit. You talked about off the field, or health-wise, that was one of your concerns. There was a little bit of a concern in Indianapolis with a bit of a degradation of their relationship because they would take him off the field in passing downs. He was mostly a run stopper. That was what he was built in to do, which here, Dallas could certainly use a run stopper. They've done a good job this year of defending the run, much better than they have the last 2 or 3 years. However, they're still not perfect in that category, and they could be better in that category. He would see playing time here where he didn't see in Indianapolis and where he might not see in Philadelphia. So maybe it's the best fit for him, plus it makes him, at least from a competitive standpoint, able to make a run. That's what he's also looking at. He's not going to go to a team like Indianapolis that's not competing and not in a hunt for a title. He wants to go try and win a ring.
Let me ask you this question. Between those two players that I just brought up, if you were to sign one of them, right?
You're talking about Leonard and Peters?
Peters and Peters, right? Would you sign the guy who you have questions about his health because of the back surgeries, or would you sign a guy who has questions about his character?
I would
Is
sign.
he healthy? Like, when I do the checks, can he play? Is he healthy enough to play?
Yeah, but it's a back.
Yeah, well, I'm only doing it for the rest of the season. I'm taking Shaq Leonard.
Same.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm also interested in the whole. I mean, Gus Bradley, Dan Quinn, they work together. I would think that if for nothing else, Dan's going to have some good knowledge of how
where he's at with
use him and where he's at right now. Yeah.
With the way that things have gone in this organization, John mentioned it earlier of certain organizations are run certain ways. With the way that things have gone, if Dallas does not sign him and he signs with Philly, Isaiah, what would your reaction be?
I would not appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think that would be a problem for Dallas and anybody else. I mean, Philadelphia's already really freaking good. Everybody knows that. There's no question about it. You don't have to like them, but you better respect them. They have historically, when I say historically, go back the last 5 years, their front office has done a heck of a job of adding to their roster. Just a magnificent job of finding ways to add talent to their roster. If Dallas doesn't sign Leonard today, it's almost unless it's health related. If it's
that's the thing, we won't know.
We won't know, right? But
until the reports start surfacing, maybe down the road.
But Philly would grab him up in a heartbeat, and that would be a problem because those guys already have a monstrous front seven.
And we've already seen Philly take a chance on guys with health. I mean, Nakobe Dean was the rock of the draft that continued to fall because of his health problems at the linebacker position. And they took a chance on him.
And it's okay taking veterans at this point in time because now their contracts aren't guaranteed. You're signing them after the first game of the season, so unless you're giving them a new contract or giving them a bunch of guaranteed money up front, is very low risk for you at this point in time. So most organizations will take a flyer on it and say, hey, a couple weeks into it, it didn't work out. All right, see you later, right? And they're out of it for whatever it is it cost them for those couple weeks of that rental. But right now I can see teams jumping all over this, and hopefully Dallas, if everything checks out, hopefully they're the team that does it.
Okay, from what you said, I would withhold judgment if that's what happened. If he left here and went to Philly, okay, I understand. Like, believe me, I'm totally on board with the Eagles have been doing. Like, I think that they've been outstanding. I'm surprised that they're a 2.5, 3-point dog to the Niners this week at home.
Are they really?
Yeah, I think that they're rolling. I think they're in a good shape. The only more surprising spread this week is clearly that the Oregon 9.5 over Washington. Crazy.
I didn't see that.
It blows my mind.
That is pretty wild too.
Hit.
But you do need to withhold judgment because let's not sit there and say that they let him leave and then he goes to Philly. Everybody will lose their mind because these are the two biggest talking fan bases, especially when it comes to social media and that. But if he gets to Philly and doesn't really have much of an impact, that'll go to the wayside. People will forget about how it was down. But, I mean, initially it'll look bad because it just seems like the Eagles are getting it. But I would want to see what he can do with the Eagles before I would go, the Cowboys messed up on this one. You know, I mean, that's the reason he's here today, to look at, whether it's medical, whatever it is in the background. I mean, you have to withhold judgment. I know nobody will, but I'm saying that, like, there could be more to it. That's always my thing with the draft process. Everybody wants to put together a list of their top players and stuff like that. And 99.9% of people that are doing that don't know the medical, don't know off the field, don't know all the stuff that these organizations spend millions of dollars on to look into these prospects. And all it would take to a lot of people that put lists together is just one little thing where you're just like, yeah, no, that knee's not going to make it past one season. You're just like, oh yeah, no, he's not on my first round board anymore. It's like, yeah, but you're not going to know that when you can just watch your college tape.
Darnell Washington.
Yeah, there's like little things like that, or players where they're just like, this guy is a locker room cancer. He will ruin everything. And you're just like, yeah, that guy's really talented. And you're just like, go ahead, draft him, see what happens.
Nobody went to his birthday party.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Exactly. And if you know anything about the draft, you watch Draft Day.
Yeah.
I think the expectation in the building today has to be if he walks out of here without a contract, that he's going to sign with Philly. It might not happen, but that has to be the expectation, and you have to be comfortable with that based on the knowledge that you're able to acquire today. That's kind of the double-sided thing that you have to take into account whenever you're writing all the notes is, okay, do we want to sign him? If the answer is no, are we comfortable with him signing with Philly? And does that force you to sign him? That's a question.
That's what I was about to ask. Is there a little bit of gamesmanship from Philadelphia here saying,
no question.
Yeah, you know
no
what?
No question.
Just by the way, if you don't want to sign with Dallas, we're here for you.
That's probably what happened.
Come on in.
Not even we're here for you. We'll be your leverage.
Exactly.
We really don't even want you. But if you want to tell them that we're out here, if that helps you, we're just fine with that.
There is a financial part to this as well.
Yes,
this is a competitive free agency, which is rare to see in the middle of a season like this. It's an off-season type of free agency. So whenever he got released last week, first thing I said was I think this is going to be really difficult for Dallas to just slam on, if that makes sense, like slam the door on.
Yeah.
And I still kind of feel that way, even though there is a little bit more confidence in him coming in today and him not having anything scheduled past today. I know the Eagles are trying to get something scheduled, but it's not official. There's only a little bit of confidence I still have in that. But I still think it's going to be competitive at the end of the day. I think he's going to have more than one offer on the table.
Do you think Dallas has the finances to sign him?
Yes. This season, yes. The future, that's where things get murky, but I think you worry about that down the road.
I don't think he signs 1 year.
You think it'd be a 2-year deal?
I mean, at least.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want to get to free agency?
Say that again.
Why wouldn't you want to get to free agency?
If he comes in and plays well?
Yeah, play well for 1 year and get to free agency next year.
I don't think that's something that he wants to do. I don't think he would want to risk that.
With what he's coming off of health-wise.
Yeah,
it makes sense. But and you also wonder from his perspective, why was he okay being released from Indianapolis? Because it looked like a mutual split. Like it didn't look like he was middle fingering out the door. You know, he was at their game on Sunday in the suite. I mean, they don't give a guy a suite if he was middle fingering out the door.
They also decided basically to take $28 million worth of dead cap over the next 2 years in order to get it done. So I mean, that's a lot of money to say, hey, you go play somewhere else.
Go.
Because it was a 5-year, $98.5 million contract. That was the original contract. Now, of course, not all of that is there anymore. I think there's just remaining $28 million on top of that.
I need like a South Park skit of him and Jimbo Fisher just swimming
chilling
in their cats right now.
Or Frank Reich. What's his name? Frank
Reich, yeah.
Jeez.
Josh McCown.
Getting paid by 2 teams.
Yes, yeah. All right, but there's your Shaq Leonard update. Of course, we'll have more if something happens throughout the day today whenever we come back tomorrow. When we come back, though, we're going to take a look at the defensive preview going up against Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks offense. They've got some weapons on that offensive side of the football. They're also missing some weapons on the offensive side. When we come back with more Talkin Cowboys right after this.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Black Rifle Coffee Company serves premium coffee to people who love America. When you drink Black Rifle coffee, you are directly supporting veterans, law enforcement, and first responders in your community. Black Rifle's expert roasters love coffee almost as much as Texas loves football, so it makes sense that America's Coffee partnered with America's team. Go online at blackriflecoffee.com and fuel up with the official coffee of the Dallas Cowboys. That's blackriflecoffee.com to fuel up today.
Cowboys fans, after that move, we've just coined the term Rowdy Replay. Let's roll back the tape.
Okay, there's our mascot Rowdy cheering on the boys. And now he's on his phone, on his Bank of America mobile banking app?
Staying on top of his finances with his virtual financial assistant, Erica.
Bank of America's digital tools are so impressive. Cowboys fans just can't stop banking. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/can't stop banking.
Erica is only available in the English language. You must download the latest version of the mobile banking banking app. Only available on select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. Member FDIC.
Welcome back into Dear Doctor, the show where I answer life's questions with an ice-cold can of Dr. Pepper. Sheila, let's hear from our next caller, would you?
Dear Doctor, my friend supported me during a tough time, but what's the right gift that says, thanks for being a shoulder to cry on?
Okay, this one's easy. I say give her a delicious Dr. Pepper. Nothing says, thanks, girl, better than a one-of-a-kind soda. Yes, any Dr. Pepper flavor will do. Now, just a reminder that I don't need to be a real doctor to know that Dr. Pepper is the one you deserve.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Welcome back to Talking Cowboys. This portion of the show is brought to you by Quaker Oats, a super trusted superfood. Quaker Oats, the official oatmeal sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. Glad you're with us here on this Tuesday. Send us a text message. I don't know where the media guide went. It might be in the little cubby thing over here. That's okay. I'll find it in a minute. But if you have the text message number, I don't have it memorized, so there you go.
It should be scrolling on the bottom of the show right now.
Yeah,
it should be.
That's it. There you go. So it'll be down there at the bottom of the show, down on the text line.
I only know that because I watched the show yesterday. And it was
Did you?
Yeah, it was an interesting perspective watching it from home.
Did we do an okay job?
Yeah, y'all did a fantastic job. I was
Thanks,
like, wow, they really don't need me. It's kind of bad.
Well, we'll let you start things off then. Whenever you look at this Seattle Seahawks offense, Geno Smith not having the year that he did last year, but still winning games. And he still has weapons to throw the football to. Tyler Lockett, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. And then, of course, DK Metcalf, who's having a phenomenal year. Which one of those weapons scares you the most, especially now that Kenneth Walker's not in the fold, Zach Charbonnet's the running back? Which one of these weapons from Seattle concerns you the most?
When you take into account what this Dallas defense does well in the secondary, what they've done well guarding so far this season, my answer would have to be Tyler Lockett, just because of his speed and his ability to play inside, play outside. He's going to face different matchups throughout the game. He's a problem for opposing defenses, and I think that's going to be the case for Dallas as well. I think what could really help Dallas this week, and it's starting to trend that way, is the fact that Kenneth Walker might not play. He didn't play last week. I believe it's an oblique injury that he's battling right now. And if he doesn't go again this week, then it's Zach Charbonnet, the rookie out of UCLA. Yeah. If you remember around draft time, that was a hot name for Cowboys Nation as far as a running back that maybe they wanted to draft early on. Excuse me. But Tyler Lockett, that's definitely the weapon that concerns me the most. But in looking at DK Metcalf, obviously it's the size, it's the physicality off the line. His releases are some of the best in the NFL. And then Jackson Smith and Jigba, it's kind of a similar, it's almost like a package of what DK does with his physicality and what Tyler Lockett can do with his separation. You find like the middle ground with both of those things, and you have Jackson Smith and Jigba. The Rockwall native coming back to Dallas for his first game in the DFW, so really looking forward to that. The last time that he played in AT&T Stadium, he had 6 touchdowns versus Allen and won 60-59 in a playoff game. So, he's looking to run that back for sure.
Not okay with that.
Yeah.
Not okay with that. By the way, Tyler Lockett, in 4 career games against the Dallas Cowboys, 4-0. He's been targeted 25 times. He has 17 receptions for 220 yards and 4 touchdowns. Now, I think most of that came in 2020 whenever he kind of went off up in Seattle against the Cowboys. At home, Isaiah, how much does this change things? The fact that the defense gets to kind of play off of the crowd a little bit, gets to play at home in front of the AT&T Stadium crowd, which all of a sudden is a home field advantage.
I think it's huge because we know that this defense of the Dallas Cowboys is momentum-based, and they're a high-energy group. And if the fans are into it, if they can feel that energy, then these boys should simply just go off. And the offensive line for Seattle sucks. It has sucked for some years now. They had just stopped investing into it. Say it with your chest. Yeah, just that's one of fresh. As a fan of Seattle sports, it's been frustrating to watch them not make that a priority since the time that they went back-to-back to Super Bowls. They just have not invested money there, and they're paying a price for it. Obviously Geno had a great year last year. This year, they made some changes, and those changes are starting to drastically affect him. They got rid of Dave Canellis, or Dave Canellis went down to go be an offensive coordinator down there for Tampa Bay. He was actually there when I was in Seattle. He was a really, really good coach. really dedicated, really on top of his game, always excited, always coaching you up. Now they have Greg Olsen, who I had when I was in Jacksonville. No disrespect, he's not Dave Canellis. So in terms of the development of Geno Smith, you see the drop off of his game, over that time span. And now Geno is getting under pressure from this offensive line. I think he's getting pressured by more than 40% of his dropbacks. So he's just throwing it up in the air. He's inaccurate right now. So yes, they have the weapons to go out there and make you pay if he has time. But the thing is, he's not going to have time against the Dallas Cowboys defensive line. And being at home just gives you that much more of an advantage, because once you get one, then usually you get 2, 3, 4, 5, and the sacks just start rolling in AT&T Stadium.
Yeah, I feel like to beat this Cowboys team offensively, you have to run the ball well. And not having Kenneth Walker would be a big blow there. I did like Zach Charbonnet coming out of the draft. I thought that he would maybe be a good complement with Tony Pollard. But he's not the same, big-time player that Kenneth Walker is. I'd say when I look at that Seattle offense, one of the things that kind of surprised me, maybe it shouldn't, is that on paper, if I'm just picking guys, like we're redrafting teams or something, DK Metcalf is the one that jumps off, the tape to you. 80 targets, only 43 catches. Mm-hmm. That was just, to me, I thought his numbers would be a little bit, but that probably goes to what you're saying about the Geno. Yeah.
I'm looking at their offensive line, and you're talking about how they haven't invested up front. It looks like they've tried to invest. It just hasn't worked out to their favor. They spent a first-round pick, an early first-round pick on Charles Cross. He's their left tackle. He's probably about as...
Is Walter Jones still there?
Good. No. If he is, he's hurt.
I'm joking.
No, I thought I was about to say.
Jones is old school.
Yeah,
old school.
Yeah,
Charles Cross, left tackle. Damian Lewis, third-round pick. Undrafted free agent Evan Brown. Phil Haynes. Stone Forsythe. I mean, Jason Peters could be their starting right tackle.
No, he will.
We know Jason Peters
he will be.
from last year. He'll probably be their starting right tackle.
How do you think that'll go?
That's not going to go well. It's not going to go well.
It was funny hearing Micah talk about that yesterday. He was asked, I think right off the top, are you excited to go against Jason? And he was like, yeah, like those battles that we had in practice last year. It's going to be fun to run those back, and kind of called him an old man, and it was hilarious.
I remember him saying that last year when he was on the team, just kind of being surprised that someone would still be playing in the 40s, just making it very clear that he had no intention of playing that long.
I don't blame him.
Me neither.
Yeah.
And they've got a ton of guys that are just been added this year with these rookies that are all backups. All of their backups are rookies. Raekwon O'Neal, McClendon Curtis, Oluwalumotimi, Anthony Bradford from LSU. They are just young.
They focused a lot. Recently, as of the last few drafts, they focused most of their attention on defense.
Yeah,
that's where they added their pieces. They were like, okay, they had Russell Wilson, and they were doing well offensively. So they're like, okay, well, we're good on this side. Let's go ahead and go to the defense side and shore that up, since the Legion of Boom fell apart. So they started putting all their draft picks into the defense, and now that's starting to come to fruition. So now they're like, oh crap, let's go back to offense. Let's add, at Jackson Smith and Jigba, and their personnel in terms of receivers and running backs and tight ends. I mean, they're solid. You slip on any of those guys, they're going to route you up at the receiver position. Any three of those guys, you don't want to face any of them one-on-one. And then, they picked up Noah Fant in that trade.
Yeah.
So he's a big body tight end that can, sure-handed. He's not going to make no huge plays on you, but he's a possession guy. Running back committee solid. It's just that offensive line is suspect. And that's the unfortunate for them, because Dallas's defensive line is the best part of their team. And they're going to apply a bunch of pressure, and Geno's going to continue to see that pressure, and his decision-making hasn't been great. It hasn't been. He only has 8 interceptions, but he should have substantially more than that, just the way the ball bounced. Even when it's not an interception, it's way offline.
Yeah.
And it's for the first time, I'm seeing Tyler Lockett with bad body language. That's how frustrating it is offensively over there in Seattle right now, because everybody knows Tyler Lockett is the professional. He's the guy that shows up, does his work, gets about the building, doesn't say anything in negative, and you can see his frustration starting to show in his body language. DK Metcalf, same thing. He's frustrated because he's not getting the rock. I mentioned it yesterday. Both of these guys together barely have as many yards as CeeDee Lamb has by himself. And that's absolutely insane for 2 Pro Bowl receivers.
Yeah, the production is very weird when you look at all 3 of those guys. The thing that stands out to me the most as I was watching film yesterday while I was blowing my nose out was The pass rush, as you said. And I feel more confident in the Cowboys' chances in this game the more that I watch, just because I don't feel like this offense is going to have time. And this is an offense that is going to need time, especially if they don't have Kenneth Walker. So the more that I watch, the more confident that I feel, not only that Dallas wins this game, but that it's comfortable.
So they run the West Coast offense. That's what they run, okay? Very much like what Dallas is doing here. The thing that everybody should know by now is the West Coast offense is predicated on timing. Right? You hear Coach McCarthy going all the way back to training camp in terms of talking about Dak's footwork and how important the footwork is with the timing of the routes and getting the ball out. And their timing is shot to crap in Seattle right now. Because of the rush, Geno's holding on to it. He's getting pressure and he's just releasing it. Their spacing on their route concepts are absolute trash right now. So if you watch, as you watch the film, watch how many guys bump into each other. Guys are getting bumped into each other's routes, and guys are supposed to be clear out routes are getting jammed up. And if you get your hands on these guys at any point in time during the route in those 5 yards, you're probably going to be pushing a guy into another concept that he's not supposed to be in that space. So it just looks bad. It looks very unprofessional, and it's disgusting to watch as a fan again, because they have so much potential when you look at their personnel. When you look at these guys on paper, if you're playing Madden, you're like, oh, I'm stacked, right? But you take that one element, offensive line, if you can't block it up, if you can't get the timing, if you can't have an accurate throw, it's night and day. Geno lit up everything last year. This year, totally different story.
Which is really unfortunate when you look at a guy like Jackson Smith-Njigba, because he's so dynamic in the short game. He's not a downfield guy. He's a guy that's going to take a quick slant and take it 40 yards after the catch before he's brought down, because he'll do the little zigzag thing. And it's so unfortunate, because that's what this offense is kind of built for. It's for a weapon like that, but they can't get that timing down. You hear Mike McCarthy and some of us in the media talk about that 2.3 second threshold all the time, and that's the timing that they're looking for. They're looking to get the ball out of Dak Prescott's hands in under 2.3 seconds, and if it's not, then he's rolling out and improvising after the play. And that's what we've seen more since San Francisco, actually. But that's besides the point. But that's the bread and butter of a West Coast offense like that.
When you talk about this team and having watched them over the years, is this the most frustrated you think that, let's say, Seahawks fans are, or just how they've played? Is it the most frustrating? Just because I think from afar, two things you think about with the Seahawks. One, that Pete Carroll is their coach, and he doesn't look like he's a day over 50, and he's the oldest coach in the NFL at 72. It's crazy to think that.
That's insane.
But you just assume, at the very least, this is going to be a really tough team. Like, I can just go off of like predictions off the last few weeks, where you're just like, oh, the Cowboys are playing at home, they're going to roll this team, they're going to roll this team. I look at the Seahawks and I'm just like, these Pete Carroll coach teams, they're not going to just like roll over. Like, this is going to be still a dogfight. How would you compare them right now to how he's bound? I mean, heck, they made playoffs. What was it, 8 out of 9 years?
No, for sure. So again, John Schneider is a beast of a GM. Mm-hmm. He's that dude. Okay, he knows how to find value out of lower draft picks. He knows how to move around in the draft and all that kind of stuff to find that value. So even though they're not spending high picks in positions that they need to, he thinks he's doing a relatively good job at acquiring talent, and I think he is. But these guys are stacked. Their roster is stacked, offensively and defensively, right? And they did a good job of adding Leonard Williams defensively, which we'll talk about tomorrow. So when you look at their personnel, this is a good freaking team, but the execution isn't there. So when you start talking about the frustration, it's very apparent, and it's probably higher than it's been ever since Russell Wilson's last year.
So it's on the coaching. You're blaming it on Pete. It's his time is up. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I heard.
Pete ain't going nowhere.
He's going to be coaching till he's 90.
But to that point, he is.
Yeah.
To that point, this is a team that you have to jump on early. Mm-hmm. Because if you do allow these guys to get some momentum and get some confidence, they'll remember who they are. And I say that often, but like, you can't allow really good players to remember how good they are.
Yeah.
But you can keep them down, right? And I tell you, guys will turn on the e-brake. They'll put it into first or second gear and just coast it out when things aren't going well. And nobody wants to hear that, but that's the reality, right? You're not going to go out there and give you 1,000% of everything I have.
And they're still in a playoff hunt,
They
too.
are still in a playoff hunt. But they've had a rough couple weeks, right? They've had a rough couple weeks over the last few weeks.
And a tough schedule coming up.
So if Dallas comes out and busts them in the mouth, I promise you they'll shut it down. I guarantee you they will shut it down, because even though you have amazing personnel, stacked roster, guys are frustrated. And it's just like, yo, man, forget this. But if you let them stay in the game and all of a sudden DK Metcalf gets a big play, or Tyler Lockett, he's back here, he lives here, by the way, so he'll have all his family here, right? Gets a big play, and then all of a sudden they get some momentum and they start looking at each other like, yeah, let's do this. Now you got a problem on your hands. Because Dallas plays a lot of man-to-man coverage, and now you're going to have them. You're going to be trying to match up. You don't have the personnel to match up man-to-man against their receivers when they're confident. You just don't. Okay, Deron Bland's playing really, really good, right? Stephon Gilmore's really, really good, but you don't have J. Lou can't Match up man-to-man against Jackson Smith and Jigba, right? If you have DK Metcalf going against Stephon Gilmore right now in this part of his career, I'm taking DK. So personnel-wise, I think they're better when you play man-to-man. But you can't allow for them to get that confidence. If you can keep them submerged, you can keep pressure on Geno, and you can make those guys get some stops, they'll shut it down. But if they get that swag back, then you're going to be in trouble. That's just the reality.
I'm more scared of the defense having confidence in the offensive weapons personally. I think we'll talk about the defense tomorrow or next segment. Tomorrow. And we'll talk about the defense more tomorrow, but I worry about that pass rush or that secondary getting more confidence. That's what's going to keep the Seahawks in the game, in my opinion. But there's a lot of truth in that. Like, we've seen what DK Metcalf can do when he takes over a game. It just feels like it's once in a blue moon. That's what it is for me. And it doesn't feel like that with the defense. It's felt like it's happened like every other game this year.
Their defense is absolutely more consistent. Yeah. But in terms of lighting a fire on this team, you can't let that dude, either one of those. You can't let Tyler Lockett or DK Metcalf get their swag back. You just can't. You got those right now, they're swagless. Yeah. Okay, keep them swagless. Because if they get their swag, they're going to look at each other and be like, all right, let's do this. Right? And then Geno's going to remember who he was last year. You can't let him remind. He balled out last year.
Yeah.
It's so funny that he says that, because it just makes me think of Dak talking about yesterday about how, even though, people say they're playing these lesser teams, he's like, trust me, we get everyone's best shot. It's a Thursday night game. You're playing the Dallas Cowboys and things like that. A lot of what you're saying makes sense too, that how you could see them, you just get a little bit of a spark, and all of a sudden it's like, you're the only game that's on, everybody's watching, you're playing the Dallas Cowboys in their building,
Because the thing is, you're not saying, I know we got to get out of here, but you're not asking guys to play outside of themselves. You're talking about really good freaking players that just are in a rut right now, and they're frustrated, and they're down, and things aren't going their way. But if that aspect is eliminated and they make some plays, then you're dealing with a whole different monster. Right now, you're going to start getting the Pro Bowl versions of these guys, which was last year. You're getting Pro Bowl. These are Pro Bowl players that you're getting, that you're going to be playing against, right? And they're solid.
On both sides of the ball.
On both sides of the ball. So just keep these guys submerged. Go out there, stop them early on, and then send these cats home.
They've won some big games this year. They're one of the few teams that have beaten Detroit. They're one of the few teams that have beaten Cleveland. Sure, they've lost some stinkers at the same time. They've lost to the Rams. Right? What was that?
Both of those games were at home, right?
At Detroit.
Yeah, that Detroit game. The way they went in there, they beat them in their building. Detroit was riding high coming off that Kansas City win to open the season. That was their home opener. They were putting out this Barry Sanders statue. That's right. They punched him in the mouth. Yeah.
37-31 was that final score. Yep. So, there's a lot to be desired from a Seattle side. Dallas can't allow them to reach that. And reach that potential and shut them down early. I think this defense is good enough to do just that. All right, when we come back, it's Smelly Sticker time. We're going to give our players of the game from the 45-10 win over Washington on Thanksgiving. And we'll give our players of the game and get you ready for tomorrow, Say It With Your Chest Wednesday, right after this.
They say champions are remembered, but legends are never forgotten. United Ag & Turf offers a winning lineup of John Deere equipment built to tackle any challenge on and off the field. Legendary John Deere tractors, combines, residential mowers, commercial mowers, compact construction equipment, Gator utility vehicles, and a full line of golf and sports turf equipment. United Ag & Turf, the official Ag & Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com to find a location near you.
Are you ready to take coffee off your grocery list forever? Black Rifle Coffee Club is here to help. As a coffee club member, you'll get your favorite coffees roasted, packaged, and shipped to your door free of charge on your preferred schedule. Set it, forget it, and never run low on coffee again. Members also get exclusive deals on coffee, products, and discounts from partner brands. Ease your mind and let Black Rifle worry about your coffee supply. Go to blackriflecoffee.com to join the coffee club today.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Back here on Talking Cowboys, this segment is brought to you by Invisalign, the official smile of the Dallas Cowboys. Our boy Maurice in Tacoma, Washington, wanted to give a shout-out to Isaiah. He said, just want to say, bring back the Sonics. My boy Isaiah looking good in that green and gold.
They're coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Yep, next year.
He said he'll be in town for the game this Thursday. He asked where we're going to be at. Where are we going to be at, Isaiah?
I'm not sure because it's supposed to be thunderstorming.
Is it really?
Yeah.
We'll be inside.
I was going to ask you. Okay, we're inside then.
Y'all gonna be at the stadium?
Yeah, we're at the stadium this week.
Let's go.
I love when y'all are in the press box. I honestly do. It's a good time. It's a good time. This time I'll try not to lose a bet.
Yeah, that was what happened the last time.
Barry doesn't get in trouble again.
Well, he's not staying. It's a night game.
Oh, true that.
Yeah,
Like
so
kicked out in trouble or just a scolding?
He got a scolding. That's all it was. All right, it's time for smelly stickers here from the 45-10 win over Georgia.
There was one falling off. I'm just OCD. I'm sorry.
The 45-10 win against Washington. It feels like forever ago, but of course we didn't have any shows on Friday. We had the 2-man show yesterday. We wanted to wait for Nick and John to get it done today, but we're finally giving our players of the game. We'll let Nick Harris go first.
Oh, okay. Well,
we can let John go first. But we were talking in the break, and he had a good idea, so it's fine. Either one.
We're gonna let John.
We'll let
first.
John go first.
You threw me off on the order.
I'm never good at putting the sticker with how the performance was. I don't know, man. Like, I've gone with this one before. I like this donut sticker. It doesn't really fit the player, but it's got to be, for me, it's Deron Bland, just because of the fact that the interceptions are crazy, don't get me wrong, and he deserves a ton of credit for that. I can't find anything that fits Bland. Like, these are all pretty tasty things here. So anyway, it's not just the interceptions, it's once he gets the ball in his hand, and he's probably got a lot of confidence because of having 5 pick sixes, but there were multiple times in that return where I was like, oh, he's going to get tackled, and he just made another move and made another move. It just seems like everything's lining up for him, and it's just wild to think about how you literally had this 2 years ago with how crazy of a tear Trayvon Diggs was on, and then to have a 5th round pick step up, get moved to the outside corner spot, and play like this. So I want to ask you guys one question about Bland, though, because I've just been thinking about this lately. Do you guys think that he would have this many pick sixes if he was still playing on the inside, or do you think the move to the outside has put him in a better position to have, I'm not just saying the interceptor, but to be able to return them for touchdowns?
More opportunities, I think, allows on the outside, so I would say yes. Or I would say no, he wouldn't have as many on the inside, but I still think he would find his just because he is that ball hawk. He has a knack for the ball. I'd hate to put a number on it, but 2 or 3 rather than 5, I guess,
I think it's just better positioning, more space once he does make the interception, because they are out on an island to a certain extent. And it's incredible how people are trying to discount what Deron is doing.
Are they?
Yeah, nationally, no doubt.
How?
Well, most of them are probably
because he's not a big name.
No, I mean, like, how are they trying to discount
They're saying that it was against quarterbacks that aren't very good, like Bryce Young and
Why doesn't anybody else do it? Why doesn't anybody else do it?
Correct. No one in the history of the NFL has ever done this.
Stupid.
No, I mean, because
it's super dumb.
Because I get the argument. Like, you absolutely can be critical of saying, hey, let's just wait on this Cowboys team. Look at who they've played. None of these teams have winning records.
I get that.
Completely validate that. When you're doing something that's breaking history, why isn't somebody else doing this then?
Facts.
It's all because of that.
No doubt. Facts. All right, Isaiah.
What do you got here? What kind of sticker is this?
This is a mango on a sunny day. And there's a big mango and there's a small mango. And there's an umbrella being held by the larger mango. You guys know who these two mangoes are?
Who are they?
Dak and McCarthy?
That's right.
That was good.
And Dak is under the protection of Coach McCarthy.
Okay, there you go.
And these two are two peas in a pot. All right, they're doing one heck of a job.
I wasn't expecting this.
Two mangoes in an umbrella.
Two mangoes underneath one umbrella. They're on one accord, and these dudes are doing the doggone thing. Coach McCarthy, Dakota Prescott.
That's a good one. You did that well.
Oh, God.
Right in the middle.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
That's funny.
Nicely done. That's funny.
Are we just adding to the middle?
Yeah, it
track
looks
today?
like it.
Let's
Yeah.
just go down the
We'll go
straight.
straight down
We're starting to run out of room, which is a good problem to have. All right, I've got a strawberry here. It looks like an angry strawberry.
Oh, it's serious.
It is. It's serious.
We had that last week.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh,
right,
yeah. It's right there in the
middle.
front. Yeah. That's okay. Well, I'm going to go with it again. It's serious business for this strawberry. It's been serious business for this offensive line the last couple of weeks. They've continued to block for Dak Prescott, nearly 200 snaps without being sacked. So I'm going to give this to the entire offensive line. They've done a great job of protecting Dak Prescott. Maybe a little angry from some of the early critiques that they had. Well, they've lived up to the expectation recently.
You know what we need to start doing?
What's that?
We need to start getting a fine point pen and start writing on there who it was.
I was really wondering that about that one on the back.
I don't remember.
That looks like an entire offensive line.
This
back
one
there.
was Kyle.
That was me. Yeah.
Okay.
Because he had like an eye appointment or something.
That's
early
what it
in
was.
the
And I
morning.
had the sunglasses.
And somebody came in on the text line and was like, Kyle needs a smelly sticker. Slap that one on the back.
You deserve that.
That's the only one I've ever
I
gotten.
can't get one for hot sauce, but he can get one
You did
for
get one for hot
get a hot
sauce.
sauce one.
Yeah, I think this was you.
Yeah.
Was that me?
I think so.
Oh, okay. Well, shoot, I'll take it then. Here I am trying to get two. Speaking of guys who would not typically get smelly stickers, I'm going to go a little bit off page a little bit. Are there other guys? Yeah, of course. Are there guys that probably deserved it more? Maybe so. Micah Parsons has a lot of stickers on here.
Shaq Leonard.
He's going to get more throughout the year, and who knows? Shaq Leonard might get one or two. But this peach, and it's like a ripe peach. It's a golden peach, and you know what's golden? Lightning in a bottle. And it's a very happy, jolly lightning in a bottle. And the happiest and jolly person on this team is Kevontae Turpin.
Absolutely.
I don't even see where the joke is. Y'all are so... I don't even see it. Like, that's how bad it is.
Happy, jolly,
Kevontae
jolly.
Turpin, we've seen him get integrated into this offense more and more as the season has gone on. That seam route was absolutely beautiful on Thursday, and it allowed for the turkey leg moment. Yes. So, Kevontae Turpin, this smelly sticker is for you.
And shout out to Terp too, man, because you talk about somebody who came in and was an All-Pro as a kick returner, and that's pretty much the role that he was placed in last year. And the one comment that he had, obviously coming into training camp, was that he wanted to become a real receiver, like in his offense. He wanted to become a dependable resource as a receiver. Like, I know I can return the ball, but I want to be a receiver, and that's exactly what he's doing right now. So shout out to him for setting a goal and actually making good with it.
He is probably, I'm trying to think right now if there's anybody that tops him in the locker room in terms of, before you walk in the locker room, you tell somebody, you're like, you got to find somebody in there that's in a good mood.
Yeah.
And it's like, so the people I'm thinking of him, Tyler Smith.
Yep.
Dak is almost always positive.
Yeah.
Jordan Lewis is usually in a pretty good mood.
Jalen Tolbert. Jalen Brooks.
Jalen Brooks.
Duran, for sure.
Duran. Israel Mukuamu.
Duran's terrified of us. That's the funny thing.
Yeah, he is. But Turpin would be probably my number one because he just always seems like he's in a really good mood.
Yeah, this is a good locker room. It really is. I think there's a lot of those guys that kind of feed off of each other in the locker room. They do a really good job. So there are the smelly stickers from the 45-10 win. Hopefully we'll do this again on Friday. How about that?
And we do have a show on Friday this week,
Yes,
correct?
we do.
That's awesome.
Yes, we do.
I'm looking forward to this. I don't usually participate on Fridays.
I know.
I'm looking forward to this immediate post-game reaction here.
Let's ride. That's going to be fun. All right, we've got immediate pregame festivities on Thursday, 6 p.m. Central Time. Again, want to remind you, if you're going to the stadium, we'll be out there. Isaiah, Barry Church, Nate Newton, Nicole Hutchison. Maybe a little Nick Harris.
Ooh,
maybe.
Let me know.
Where at? Where are we talking about? Where are you
Usually we're in the AT&T East Plaza, so
right.
it's the opposite of the Miller Lighthouse,
Right by
the
the
opposite
mirror.
side.
But if it's storming, where will y'all be?
We would be on the field.
All right,
It'd be a little more. It'd be a little bit more
I'll
confined.
definitely.
Does that
come
put
at
you
least
by
y'all.
Sky Mirror?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
Sky
know
Mirror
where
is
you
like
guys are
behind
at.
us
Yeah.
directly.
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does anyone know the story behind Sky Mirror? Like, is there a story behind it? Like, why it exists?
I think it's just a art sculpture.
Yeah, but there's a
fascinating.
reason.
There is a
like,
reason.
I think like if you take, I don't know, something with like a picture or something like that. I don't know, like there is something about if you ever get in a group, like take a picture with it, like the way that it like shows the sky, like in the background of the picture. It is good for taking photos in front. I know a lot of fans do that when they're there. I think that's one of the reasons they put it there is because it's a good piece to kind of like, you ever seen like that bean that's in Chicago like that, you know? So I think
It's the
that
same
might
artist.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
There you
okay.
go.
The
Wow.
same artist
I
that
knew
did the
Beamer
Bean
knew.
in Chicago.
That's pretty cool.
did
It is a
Sky
good
Mirror.
spot, like especially with the fountain being there if you're going to take a group picture or whatever.
Have you
So
ever
take
taken
a
a
group
selfie there?
picture. I haven't, but I think people should do that and then come see you guys.
We should take a group picture in front of the
Yeah,
Sky Mirror.
let's take a Talking Cowboys group
meet
picture. I love that idea. All right, we'll be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. Central Time, to break down a little QB vision and then give our picks for the game, and then we'll do picks for the NFL on Friday, the rest of the NFL on Friday. But we've got plenty more to talk about this week here on Talking Cowboys. For Chris Beam in the back, Isaiah Stanback, John Machota, Nick Harris, I'm Kyle Yeoman saying so long from the Star in Frisco. We'll see you tomorrow with more Talking Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?